head to head. Some head-to-head comparisons are just a no-brainer, and as always, when it comes to no-brainers, I'm your man. The CZ Shadow 2, an amazing 9mm double-action, single-action handgun built for competition, and the Beretta Wilson Combat 92G, also a double-action, single-action, high-quality handgun built for competition. So, taking a look at both of these guns side by side today. Just want to have a whole lot of fun, shoot them a bunch, talk about which ways they're the same, which ways they're different, what I like about one versus the other, and things like that. So I also get a chance to test and work out these brand new Mec-Gar magazines. Going to be using pretty exclusively Mec-Gar magazines. Extra capacity magazines. So the two magazines for the CZ Shadow 2 I purchased myself from the Mec-Gar website, which is easy to do, and the two Mec-Gar magazines for the Beretta were provided by Mec-Gar for my testing and evaluation. So I bought those two. Those two were provided by Mec-Gar. Going to shoot a little bit of everything ammo-wise. Sort of a mixed bag of range stuff, including some hand load with blue bullets. I haven't shot those much. I know some people swear by them. So there we go. Mec-Gar magazines, brand new. Extended capacity, we'll talk about those capacities as we shoot, and two beautiful and very well built handguns. Okay, first up the CZ Shadow 2, just because it's the one I happened to pick up. Mec-Gar +2 magazine. This holds 19 rounds and it loads nice. All 19 rounds went in very easy, including that last one. First time with this mag, not the first time with this gun. I'm going to start out double action. The only way to do that with this gun is to drop the hammer carefully. I've got an array of steel targets downrange. I'm just going to plink around and have a little bit of fun with them. Talk about how I like this gun. Starting out, again, double action. Sweet double action trigger on this gun. Wow, that was 19 rounds pretty quick. Not only time, but rounds fly when you're having fun. Okay, up next. No pause in the action, folks. You're getting what you paid for today. The Beretta Wilson Combat 92G Brigadier Tactical with the Mec-Gar magazine that holds 18 rounds. And it has a flush base plate. So essentially, absolutely no more footprint than the regular magazine, which only holds 15 for this gun. And this one, I'm also going to start out double action. and that was 18 rounds. So it goes by quick. You better have a lot of money for ammo if you're going to shoot these guns with these magazines. So as I said, these two guns are very, very similar in a lot of ways, and obviously there's some key differences, but in most dimensional ways and specification ways, they have a lot in common. They're within a couple of tenths in barrel length and overall length. They are exactly the same in height at 5.5 inches. Of course, they are both double action, single action, and the triggers are, for the most part, very similar in their quality. CZ Shadow 2 has a shorter reset and stroke, and you can just triple tap or quadruple tap the Shadow 2 a little faster than you can the Brig Tac. However, the Brig Tac I think has a little bit smoother double action and lighter. The CZ Shadow 2 is thinner by a couple of tenths of an inch, which is significant when it comes to thickness, but the biggest difference, the absolute biggest difference between these two guns is weight. CZ Shadow 2 is every bit of 10 ounces heavier. That is a lot. That's a whole lot. I mean, there's some handguns that don't weigh a whole lot more than that to begin with. You could almost make a handgun out of the difference in weight between the Shadow 2 and the Brigadier Tactical. And the Brigadier Tactical is no lightweight, so that's how heavy this thing is. In fact, I'm getting a little bit tired just standing here holding it right now. I'm gonna have to rest. All right, back at it. Shadow 2. The sight picture on the Shadow 2 is fantastic. That beautiful blacked out rear, bright red, fiber optic front. And boy, I'll tell you what, all that weight really makes it managed nice. I mean, it's only 9mm, but still. Let's start out double action again. The Brigadier Tactical, on the other hand, from Wilson Combat, feels more comfortable to me in the hand. It is wider by a couple of tenths of a thousand. This is about 1.5 inches wide compared to about 1.3 or so for the CZ Shadow 2, but it feels nicer and I like the back strap better. I'm not a big fan of that dog leg they added to the CZ. I like it in spite of it, but it's not something that draws me to the gun. CZ Shadow 2 has a safety, but no decocker. The Beretta has a decocker, but no safety. That is the 92G, that's the G configuration. So they're kind of the same but opposite in that respect. Yeah, the double action is silky, silky smooth. Sight picture is a little different. We have a smaller black rear sight with a U-notch. And instead of a fiber optic front, you've got a tritium white ring. But other than that, not a whole lot of differences specification-wise. Both of these guns are a lot of fun to shoot. Okay, here are the two guns side by side, and I'll put the specs right here for you so you can read those on your own time. But you can see how close they are in size. Length is almost identical. CZ Shadow 2 is a little bit longer. The barrel and the overall length, just a hair longer than the Beretta. If we line up the sights, I'll line up the two front sights here, you can see that the sight radius is a tiny bit longer on the CZ, but not much. Just maybe an 1/8 of an inch. So very, very close. And on the height, they are just about the same height. I know you can't see that there. Bring them up this way. The CZ is maybe just a tiny bit taller. They both measure 5.5 inches in height. Of course, the real key number is the weight. 46.5 ounces for the CZ versus 36 ounces. That over more than 10.5 ounces of extra weight on the CZ, which definitely helps you control the recoil, and it makes it a fun gun to shoot. But it is heavy. Also makes it illegal for IDPA. I talked about capacities a little bit, but that really just has to do with which magazines you happen to have. The Brigadier Tactical comes with 15 round magazines, but you can easily get 17 round magazines, and these Mec-Gar magazines are 18 round magazines. So that's what I was shooting, 18 round magazines. The CZ Shadow 2 comes with 17 round magazines, but again, Mec-Gar has extended that with a +2, and they now hold 19. Excellent quality magazines from Mec-Gar. Both of them have these nylon followers that are really slick. They do a great job of feeding, and they both have the non-friction or anti-friction coating, which makes them drop nice and free. Excellent quality from Mec-Gar, just like I always expect and always get. Of course, it wouldn't be a real head-to-head without a little bit of this. Okay, going back to the Shadow 2 now. I have loaded my magazines with just 15 rounds each, and that's probably how I'll stick with it. I'm not trying to top them off. I just wanted to do that to make sure that that they would hold what they're supposed to hold, and they loaded and functioned properly, which they do. But I'm too anal retentive to have uneven rows in my ammo box. So those first mags were Freedom Munitions, if you're playing along and taking notes. This is MagTech ammo. And again, I'm going to start out double action, because part of my evaluation between these two guns is which double action trigger do I like best. I've already got a little bit of an opinion, but I want to shoot some more and really decide. Wow, this is just so nice, this gun. So nice. Shadow 2 is heavier than the Beretta. Back to the Beretta. Starting out double action. Wow, you can go through 15 rounds just almost too fast. Oh, well, it would be hard to have to pick between these two guns, I can tell you that. But I will tell you that I think I like the double action a little better with what Wilson Combat has done on this Beretta. Just a little bit better. All right, let's just compare these triggers because they're both double action, single action. They are both competition-oriented pistols, so it all becomes about the trigger. So here's the double action trigger for the CZ Shadow 2. Very, very nice. And what I like about this polished trigger face, and I mentioned this before, is the way your finger just slides along it. You don't really feel any friction there. So as you pull it, as your finger starts to move just a little bit on the face of the trigger, you don't feel that, which makes it feel even smoother. Beautiful, beautiful double action. Now the single action, let's look at that. Here's the reset. Very short. Nice tactile. You can feel when you're there, and you are right at the wall. So there is no additional take up after the reset. Once again, reset, right at the wall, and a good break. Beretta Wilson Combat Brigadier Tactical double action, also extremely nice. One of my favorites. In fact, I think I like this double action a little bit more. It just feels a little bit smoother and lighter. Single action though, let's look at that. Do the reset. A little bit further on the reset. We have a good audible reset, but it's not quite as tactile. You don't feel it quite as much. And then some take up before the break, which is a very nice crisp break. Once again, reset. And a little bit of take up, watch. To the wall, and then break. Two very, very nice triggers. I have once again filled the magazines all the way to the tippy top. 19 rounds for the CZ and shooting steel case ammo. Tula. See if either one of these pistols or magazines have a problem with it. And again, double action, start. Well, there was 19 rounds of steel-cased ammo through the CZ Shadow 2. No problems at all. Okay, same through the Beretta, except 18 rounds instead of 19. One shorter. Also, double action again. Tula, 115 grain steel-cased ammo. There we go. 19 and 18, no flaws, no problems with the magazines, no problem with the pistols. Kind of what I would expect. Also have a really nice Blade Tech holster. for this Beretta. I'll show you that in a close-up. It's nice. One other key difference between these two guns, they are both double action, single action, but the Beretta 92 has a hammer decocker, but no external safety, because it is a G configuration. So the decocker decocks the hammer, but does not leave the gun unsafe. It springs back. The Shadow 2, on the other hand, has a safety, but no decocker. So if you want to decock the hammer, you have to take it off safe and then decock it with your fingers, the old-fashioned way. Both of the guns' controls are ambidextrous. So our decocker is ambidextrous on the Beretta, and our safety is ambidextrous on the CZ. And for the CZ, I did install the wider right-handed shooter's safety. Another difference a little bit is price, although that is actually fairly similar the way these two guns are configured. CZ Shadow 2 retails for $1,300. You should be able to find it cheaper than that, but still, that is the MSRP. Whereas the BrigTac MSRP for the base model is about $100 cheaper than that. However, if you add in the tuning that I have on this gun, you're going to add at least $150 to $200 more. So the BrigTac as configured is a little bit more expensive than this Shadow 2, but they are very, very close. I'm going to shoot those blue bullets now just for the fun of it. These are my hand loads, so if we have any malfunctions, you know who to blame. Speaking of which, not fully into battery. Okay, sorry for that delay. I had to go use my handy racker again. I recently had to use the handy racker to clear a very similar, if not identical, jam with 45 ACP blue bullets. This is with the 9mm blue bullets. And I can tell you, looking at this bullet that I ejected, the polymer jacket is, has been shaved off in spots all the way around it, which means it's out of spec. It's too tight for the chamber. No bueno. I mean, no like that. I'm going to save this. I'll save this bullet. I'll show you close-ups of this. So for an extra bonus, you will also get a review of blue bullets. Let's see if I can make it through the rest of the magazine. All right, now the Beretta, BrigTac, Wilson Combat, Brigadier Tactical. Double action is the way we want to start out. See if I can hit that flapper. Double action, yes I can, because this double action is just so sweet. This is also blue bullets here too. So, got through all the blue bullets with the Brigadier Tactical. Of course, we will draw no conclusions. All right, stick with the BrigTac for a second. I'm gonna go back to some Herder's ammo. I got to tell you that if I had my choice between a double action with a decocker only and no safety, or a double action with a safety only and no decocker, I'll take it this way every time. I like being able to decock and keep it off safe, double action. Okay, one other important thing to compare between the two. I've told you this before, unless you weren't paying attention, but this Shadow 2 gets hot. It's like maybe 60 degrees today, but it's a sunny day. Clear sky is sunny day, but like I said, maybe 60 degrees, and I can already feel how hot this gun gets if I leave it sit out just for a few minutes. I've usually been bagging it when I set it down. You don't have that problem with the G10 grips on the Beretta, but man, I'll tell you, these black aluminum grips will fry your skin. Starting out double action. I think I shoot the CZ better. It's just something about the sight picture that I pick up better. Okay, here's the bullet that stopped our fun. And you can see as I rotate it here, see those little white marks just up from the cartridge rim, where it basically had an interference fit with the chamber wall. So this bullet is too big and it got stuck, and it would not allow the pistol to go fully into battery. So I had to, and it was stuck in there pretty hard. I had to kick it out pretty hard to eject it. But that is polymer coated. So it's curious that I've had this happen a few times within the last couple of weeks with these polymer coated bullets, and so I'm starting to be a little suspicious about their tolerances. That type of stoppage is not something I enjoy. So, for whatever it's worth, it's a sample of one, but still something to think about. I promised I would show you guys this holster in a close-up, so here you go. This is the Blade Tech holster for the Brigadier Tactical Wilson Combat. You can see I've written on it so I can know which one it is when I'm rummaging through my box of holsters. But it's got this really awesome back that allows you to either slip your belt through it or open it, put it around your belt and close it. And it's got these spacers so you can adjust for the thickness of your belt, which is awesome. And then that locks into place, and it's got an additional lock here you bring up, and she is secure. But it's just a really well-made holster from Blade Tech. And the customer service was superb, because when I first ordered it, I ticked the wrong box. I just ticked Beretta 92, and then I realized my mistake, and I sent a question to their customer service. I said, hey, is that going to be the right holster? And they said, no, we actually make one for the Brigadier Tactical from Wilson Combat. Well, let me switch it for you. And they did, so I didn't have to do anything. So if you go to their website to order this holster, make sure you check Wilson as the manufacturer, not Beretta. And then you'll see Brigadier Tactical. Wow, what a pleasure today to do head-to-head with two of the very best production handguns made. Well, I guess you could say production. The Wilson Combat has put their touches on this Beretta 92G, but it's still a production gun. It is made in Beretta's factory, and set to Wilson Combat, where they just do the trigger work if you have ordered it that way, or if your dealer ordered it that way, and they do an inspection. Otherwise, it's a Beretta. The CZ Shadow 2 is incredible. You know, as I've said multiple times, if you told me right now I could only leave here with one of these two handguns, I would have a really hard time with that decision. Really hard time. So let me kind of boil it down a little bit this way, if I can. I just spent a couple of hours shooting both of these guns. I put probably about 300 or 400 rounds through the two of them, and so everything is pretty fresh in my mind. As fresh as my mind can be anyway. So when I was a kid, I remember my dad had a section of railroad track that he used as a sort of an anvil, you know, or a weight. That's kind of what this gun feels like when you hold it. This thing is just heavy. It is like heavy, heavy. This gun is no slouch at about 36 ounces, but man, you get up to 46 ounces or so that this one is, and you'll see all those real numbers, but yeah, you really do feel that difference. The double action trigger on both of these guns is superb, among the very best made. I like the Berettas better, and probably what I really should say is I like what Wilson Combat has done with Berettas better. The CZ Shadow 2 though is right behind it, not far. So if you bought this gun and had a gunsmith just tweak it a little bit on the trigger, you'd be right there. Wouldn't take much. The CZ has the better single action trigger. It is a shorter, more tactile reset, just lighter and crisper, and you can triple tap all day long with this guy. This one's no slouch, but this one just a little bit better. There's a little bit more slop and a little bit more travel in the reset and the single action pull of this gun. If I was looking for a competition gun and I was going to shoot like USPSA or Steel Challenge type shooting or whatever, you know, action shooting, I would be inclined probably to start out with the Shadow 2. That would be the one that I think is the best built for ready to go compete, to be a race gun in a production class, which is awesome. You could certainly shoot the Beretta in production, but this would be more of a, if I was going to shoot IDPA, I would definitely choose the Beretta, the Wilson Combat Beretta, because this one's just not even legal to begin with. But even if it were, I think this is a better all-around gun. Like usual, some of you might be annoyed that I'm not picking a winner, but there really is no winner to pick. It's just a matter of which things, which little elements or features or subtle differences you prefer in one versus the other, because there's nothing wrong. There's not a thing wrong with either of these guns. They are perfection at what each of them do and the way they do it. So it's just, again, comes down to your choice, you know, which one do you like better, but they are both perfect. I like the feel of the Beretta better. It's got a more comfortable ergonomic for me. I'm not a big fan of the dog leg on the CZ. And of course, talked about the heat. You know, when it gets hot out, this thing's gonna be a bear to hold on to. I may have to look for some G10 grips when the market brings those out. The Mec-Gar magazines performed flawlessly. I shot the Mec-Gar magazines exclusively today. So everything I shot was through the new Mec-Gar magazines. The two that I bought for the CZ and the two that Mec-Gar provided for me for the Beretta. They are all the anti-friction coating. They both have nylon followers and interconnected internals such as a spring, follower, base plate, and things like that. They are just perfection as well. So no issues there. They fed perfectly. They load great. You can get the 19 and the 18 rounds in them without any real hassle. So there you have it from the range on the first nice day that I can remember us having in a long, long time, and I hope the first of many more to come. Thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if we're still on YouTube, and I hope we are. And if you are so inclined, Just an Opinion channel can be found on Patreon as well. Thanks for watching, guys.